Up next, and back by popular demand, we have Women Defining AI for a very hands-on session. So they'll leave you with very practical use cases that you can literally go and try the minute you can drop right on the minute you get back to your desks. But I want to just introduce who these amazing women are. So we have the co-founders of Women Defining AI. We have Helen Kupp. Helen is an accomplished technology executive, Slack, Salesforce, Thumbtack. She's the co-author of a Wall Street Journal best-selling book, How the Future Works. And then we have Nichole Sterling, who is the CEO of My Town AI. She's revolutionizing how local government operations actually work through digital twins and AI. Nichole also co-chairs the GovAI Coalition's internal LLM committee. Thank you.
Oh, wow, casual. So grateful to be back here on the charter stage, not just because it's an awesome group of people and hosts, but because we get to talk about making AI work in the enterprise, and also follow on the red thread that's been pulled throughout, which is how do we get everyone here more hands-on and experimenting and using AI more regularly in their day-to-day. So for those of you who have, all right, I'm going to do this on my computer. Whoop. For those of you who have been with us before, you'll know that we use a pretty interactive way to have this conversation. So the slide's not showing up, but you can go to, we ask that you pull out your phone, go to menti.com, and you will see that code on top. Enter the code 14247255. And that'll let you interact with us as we go through and ask you all some questions of our own. We're going to get you to do some work right away. Oh, yes, you need Wi-Fi. It's convene, stay connected. Yes. Okay.
Those instructions will remain up at the top. So if she's changed the slides, see, they're still there.
Yeah. If you're able to log on, go ahead and start voting. We'll do an easy one. How broad is AI adoption and experimentation across your organization today? Are you still in the early days of adoption, or all the way on the right-hand side, which is expert, like the ServiceNow, over 75% of adoption, or in-house solutions built? I get that we're feeling all still kind of early days, especially following that ServiceNow talk, maybe. Okay, and yes, you can click on the emojis in the bottom to react, and everyone loves the cat emoji.
We love the cat emoji. Go ahead and hit that lots.
And if you're attending virtually, please also join us and vote as well. Okay.
All right.
Good skew. All right, keep this in mind as we jump into the second part of this question. Oh, we'll skip one more. Okay, so beyond adoption, I want you to think about how AI has actually improved your sentiment around productivity or effectiveness at different levels of your organization. So whether you're early or expert, rate from strongly disagree that AI has had any impact on me as an individual or my team or at the company level, to strongly agree that actually AI has had a lot of impact on productivity or effectiveness. I'm curious where we all land. So you can see already what we feel intuitively, probably, which is that despite the magic, the hype, the wow factor of working with something like a ChatGPT or Claude, it may feel like, wow, I can be really effective myself, but I might not have seen the impact at the organization level, at the company level. And so, why the gap? I think we heard themes of this throughout the morning already, but some of the 3 key themes that we tend to encounter is first, scale. So it's not just about, have you tried ChatGPT once or twice, but it's about the breadth of use cases. Are you experimenting across different roles, really looking for new use cases, new things that LLMs can do. Integration with work. We heard this from ServiceNow around it needs to be in your workflow. It needs to be part of the process, not just another tool that you jump out of and go and use and have to think about. And finally, reimagining work from the ground up, rethinking processes, roles, and systems. So the typewriter is a really great example of this. When it first came out in 1875, it was probably obvious that you could make handwritten notes, memos, etc., a lot more efficient. Sure. But the magic didn't come until we were starting to think about truly redesigning and reimagining work. What were some of those things that we actually couldn't do now that typewriters are around? Things like actually documentation is way easier. And maybe there are whole processes that we can document now. And I love this quote from Genevieve Bell, VP of Intel Labs, where she pushes us to think about how the typewriter, it required different types of spaces. And reimagining work meant that with documentation, you had a lot of second-degree follow-on things that came out of it, like binders and types of desks for typewriters. Really thinking beyond how to make our work incrementally better, but pushing ourselves to really take that bigger dream and say, what could be so vastly different? Maybe not in our physical workspace, but maybe in our virtual workspaces.
So everyone, we are Women Defining AI. We are set out to leverage the playing field for women and non-binary individuals by closing the technology gap. And so we're going to run through a couple more questions and some demos as to how, there was a comment made earlier. It's like, if you're small, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a small business, how can you actually 10x yourself and your team by using some of these tools? So first question, what are some of the most repetitive tasks your team handles? Most repetitive. Timesheets. First one up.
Timesheets.
I like it. LinkedIn copy.
LinkedIn copy for me.
Yep. Emails. Great. Yes. Next question. How many of you have created your own AI assistant? Okay, not sure how. That seems to be the winning one. Great. So this first demo that we're going to show you is just how easy it is to actually create an AI assistant. We do a lot of building in public at Women Defining AI. At the core of what we do, we are a Slack community. And so we have to share publicly. And we also share publicly within social media. And so let's take a look at how we can enhance our social media posting. And let's see if it's going to play. You might.
We're in push
All right, here we go. So Helen's in here and she says, hey, can you go ahead and create a LinkedIn post, based for an AI conference? And she does it initially and she says, it gives a very generic response. So she goes into our custom GPT. And we'll show here in just a moment that this custom GPT is built with context. It means it has our mission, our vision, our values, and also, some previous LinkedIn posts. And now you can see that it actually gives a very specific, points to our very specific mission and vision within Women Defining AI. That's because our custom GPT, again, has that context. And so now she's going to go in and she's going to show you the configuration. These are the custom instructions. Basically says, hey, this is the style and tone I want you to articulate. This is the mission and vision. And that way, it then can give a very specific output regarding Women Defining AI. Very, very easy to create. in there, we had the documents, right? The things that we could upload. And there you go. Now, that's great for me. It augments my role, it augments my work. But what do we do when we want it to augment the rest of us, our team? Well, that's when we want to think about scale and being able to 10x something like this. And so Helen then ran an experiment of if we really wanted to do this and we want to do it well, we would actually integrate with Slack. Slack is our internal communications tool. Think about that traditional marketing, brand guide, and how do you scale it across everyone else? Well, this is how you would potentially do that. Here's another demo video where she is going in and she's going to implement it within Slack. I think you might have to start that one. All right. So saying she's in Slack and she says, hey, could you go ahead and create that LinkedIn copy, the social media post? And it says, great, yeah, here you go. Here's some of that content. She continues to prompt it. Again, this is within Slack. She continues to prompt it. And it gives, because she says, hey, can you work in the title of our session? It says, yeah, great. Go ahead. Here it is. It actually pulls in the title. And then I pop in and I say, could you make this shorter? And can you pull on a women defining AI core value? And then again, it goes ahead and does that. So this idea that we need to scale from me to we so that everyone has accessibility to it, this is one of those little key use cases, especially for those of you who wrote LinkedIn copy on that initial slide, right?
Okay. Setting up that custom GPT is actually as easy as Nichole had shown in that first demo, which is going into platform, no code, adding your instructions. The second use case, before we dive in, I wanted to ask a quiz, because I know we have a couple of CROs and sales folks in the audience as well. How many follow-up calls do a majority of sales need after the first meeting, you think, to actually close the deal? This is a very, very smart group. It is about 5. So you're landing about the same spot in the middle somewhere, which is a lot. 5 follow-up calls is a lot of calls,
yep.
Especially for someone who's a bit more introverted. So the second demo is using a tool that I found recently called Vappy AI. And what's really nice as a follow-on demo is that setting up your own voice agent is as easy as an email template. So very similar, being able to, don't worry about not being able to see the details, but really, you just go in without code, start your voice agent design, give it a first opening line like, hi, my name is Ava, I'm the Women Defining AI Assistant. And then give it instructions about how you want it to operate. So it can be a customer service rep. It can be that like really go-getter, sales rep doing a follow-up call. You add instructions. Similarly, you can tack on documents like I did Women Defining AI, mission, vision, values, FAQs about our membership, and a couple of other docs, which is really nice. So I'm not going to play the whole demo because I'm going to attempt this. Charter lets me do some wild things. We're going to do a live demo of me calling that voice agent that I just created. It took about 5 minutes or less. So this is the part where you don't participate because I don't want to overload the situation.
An AI assistant for the Women Defining AI community. What can I tell you about our work?
Can you tell me more about the membership?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to provide more information about the membership for Women Defining AI. By becoming a member of Women Defining AI, you gain all access to a wealth of programs and events designed to empower and educate. Our membership includes...
Oh, okay, cool. But can you tell me more about the values of this community?
Of course. Our community is built on a foundation of strong values that guide everything we do at Women Defining AI. Here are some of our core values. 1, we aim to empower women and non-binary individuals to become active creators of technology.
Okay, so you kind of get the demo. That was fairly easy for me to set up, which was really cool. And you know, one of the use cases is you can have a phone line now, because so much of business is still done via phone, where they can call in and get more information about the community. But let's talk about what happens when you can scale this and integrate this into work. You can also turn this around and create an outbound agent. So instead of people calling in, what I've done is actually we can create a spreadsheet of numbers, and it can monitor the spreadsheet for who to call, and then actually outbound call this number and interact with the user on the other end. And you can do this all without code, because I don't code. And so you can imagine both taking that use case that you can experiment with, and actually very valuable as someone who is trying to call DMV and doctor's appointments for, you know, helping me schedule stuff as an individual. Useful to me, but now useful to us when you can scale this and really drive 10x improvement.
All right, here's another question for you. What is the difference between a custom AI bot versus an AI agent? Hopefully, if you were paying attention in the previous sessions, you've got this one.
Thank you, whoever wrote the first one.
All right, no idea. There's still some folks who say, okay, we're still trying to figure it out. Great, then this will be handy. So this next demo that we're going to show you is OpenAI just came out with Operator. Operator is their agentic software that is going to, it's very similar to what Claude had released a couple of months ago. It's their computer use. It basically goes and around on the websites, does the thing that you need it to do, right? We find that with agents, they can take action on your behalf. And that's one of the biggest differences, hence the word at the very beginning, action. Absolutely. Now, the reason why we're showing you this is because 1, it's shiny and new. 2, you're going to hear a lot more about agents in 2025. But it's also really important to understand when you use an agent versus when you might just augment your work or you might automate the work. Something very different. It's very specific. So let's take a look at what this looks like. This is me. I'm going to go in and I'm going to play with Operator. I've already given it a prompt earlier. I said, hey, you know, we need to find some grants for Women Defining AI. And so it had already ran. And here below, it gives me a few of them. It says, hey, here's some grants that you can go apply for. I said, okay, great. However, what I really want you to do is I want you to go and find another 30 opportunities. And I want you to populate an Excel document with the name, the deadline of the grant. Give me some other criteria that's really important for me to know in applying to the grant. Again, this is not me operating the websites. It is Operator going through and looking through all these various websites, 30 plus of them, analyzing when the deadline is, the certain criteria that we need, all the things. And then what you'll see here in just a moment is it starts to populate my Excel document. Think about how that could augment your team. What's really cool about this is that when we are looking at this nonprofit grant Operator, this is actually something we're going to apply for. Put in a good word for us. We're applying to Google. And so, but we're looking at the opportunity because I work in the public sector. I deliver AI system for the public sector. It's the same. It's the same. It is a very tedious process. It's painful. And the reason why an agent is so important is because each interaction with a grant is personalized. It's bespoke. It's a different question here. It's a different question here.
It's a different website.
It's a different website. So wish us luck. We're going to hopefully solve this for the world. Okay? All right. So close you down with a few things, a few takeaways. First of all, you may have heard this before. We're going to reiterate it. Stop. Don't just say AI. Actually do AI. we are still in this experimentation mode. We still have to build intuitions about what's possible and what's not. Keep at it. Next, explore beyond what you think works today, beyond what you think right now works. New things are coming out. You have to get hands-on with these agents. Same thing. Know what it can do, know what it can't do, so you can augment not just your own work, but your team's work. And last, but certainly not least, invest in rethinking work. We've already heard this before. Break down a job's tasks. Break down its duties. How do we need to rethink how that is done if we were to implement AI first? My last closing line, because I love saying it, thank you, New York.